I'm trying to make is it okay as a Catholic?
Yeah.
I believe that there's some people who become Catholic because they are right-wing and they feel it fits their agenda.
Yeah.
I can be homophobic. I can be anti-trans. I can vilify women to believe that they don't own their own body, and I could make sure I could say these things. What I'm saying is, this should not be an attitude. You should be someone that says, these things are not something that we should be doing, but I accept they're sinful.
Oh, I'd say this. I don't own my own body, and a woman doesn't own her own body. And in particular, in relation to that...
I'll give you that, because I continue. These same people, because the same person I said, does a man own his own body? He said, yes, but not women. I'm like, no, hold on,
well,
this is nuts.
Well, next time you speak to her, press him on, can we commit suicide? You see, we can't. If we owned our own bodies, we could. We could actually have...
Even though...
So we could have, some people have weird surgery done just for cosmetic reasons, not health reasons. You can't do that in Catholicism. You can't like do all kinds of strange things to distort your face. But that issue arises over abortion. Women, if any woman says to me she owns her own body, I'd say no, you don't. And if you get pregnant, if you try to deal with what's in your body in a certain way, which is currently lawful, come the day that I'm in charge, then you will not be able to do that with your own body.
That's fine, but you're consistent because you're willing to say that a man doesn't own his own body. You're consistent. This person said, no. Women don't own their own body. And I said, does a man own his own body? He said, yes.
Okay.
I said, no, that's not consistent. Again, I want consistency.
Where was this person from?
He's
English person, Catholic.
Yeah.
What? I claim to be a Catholic.
I wouldn't.
Catholic politician.
I would say that, given what I've said about how your interest in equality cannot be served. Okay, in a moment. How your interest in equality cannot be served at all by a Labour government because of the way they are and what they're allowing to happen. And it can't be served by a Tory government because the Tories are more left-wing than the 1970s Labour Party, than the Labour Party I was voting for in the 80s.
I agree with this.
So the Tories are no good.
I agree with that.
And Reform are dodgy.
Yeah.
So my encouragement to you is to never vote Labour or Tory again.
Fine, I agree with that.
Okay, well, I've achieved something.
So I've got a question.
All right.
As Catholics, should we accept or look to fix climate change? Or is it okay as Catholics to believe it's a hoax?
All right. Firstly, because it's a scientific question,
Yes.
Catholics can take an anti or pro side.
Okay.
That the climate changes is not an issue. It does change.
Yeah.
It used to be called global warming.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah.
You know why that wasn't? Why that stopped being used?
Because it's not warming up to the point that...
This idea of it was was not really...
It didn't fit the bill, yeah.
So that's instructive that they changed the terminology. Now, there was a chap, it's Ekberg, I think he's a Scandinavian guy, scientist, and he's explained that if we have, say, 3% warming, you know, all the way through this century, to the end of the century, we will have increased living standards across the world by 400% compared to today.
Yeah.
This will, but the effect of the warming will knock about 5% off those living standards. So, left alone, global warming will still not affect overall human welfare.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Now, when you go to specifics, like the Great Barrier Reef, I remember watching the BBC. Oh, the Great Barrier Reef, all kinds of problems with the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef has recovered.
Yeah.
So, you see, there's all kinds of things that can be pointed to, which really go against
That's not what I'm getting at.
The agenda which says we should have more windmills, more electric cars, and so on.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. So let me make my point slightly clearer.
Sure.
As Catholics, should be okay to believe that there is this grand conspiracy out there, this grand by whoever, and that climate change is one of the conspiracies they're putting forward to us.
Well, I think that would be, well, you can, I mean, it's not a sin to believe that there's a conspiracy of this, that, and the other, you know.
But is it something we should be promoting?
Well, from my point of view, I think there's a conspiracy to promote green industry, the green agenda. That's what I think. Because I don't think that we need to be promoting the building of windmills. We don't need to be promoting electric cars. We don't need to be saying don't burn coal, which we have plenty under. We don't build nuclear power stations. I don't believe we need to be doing that, because what we do is we don't dig our coal, we get it from Azerbaijan, and it looks good on our stats because we're not burning it ourselves. And so
we're not reducing the use of coal, really.
No. But what we do is this agenda, the Miliband agenda, and others who say, they're basically they're doing things which will impoverish the country, but they deny that that's what they're doing. And that's the conspiracy to me, not the idea there's nothing going on in the climate. I can accept that things are going on in the climate as a result of what we do.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. The idea that it's not, whether there's an agenda behind what the politicians are doing is fine. To me, it's the idea that climate change in itself is a hoax. And I'm saying, I don't believe, in the light that Pope Francis, whether we like him, dislike him, or disagree with him, he wouldn't say that climate change is a hoax.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what he says. Not just because I'm down on him, but any of the popes. Same when they talk about evolution, doesn't matter what they say. Like, only in a sense, like Pope Pius XII said, we mustn't say we're evolved from, like, we're from numerous human beings. But when they say, like John Paul II said, evolution is more than a theory, or Benedict believes in evolution. This is irrelevant because they're not scientists. But
100%.
So if somebody says, actually the climate is not warming at all, that's their right to say it. And there are and they're scientists, some of them. So I won't go against that. But I will say, like I'd say with a lot of other scientific issues, I'll listen to both sides and I form a view which I might change in the future.
Yeah.